Welcome to our live stream, and it's good to have all of you today. Yeah, we are very privileged today because we have two wonderful guests from two different parts of the world. One is from US and the other one is, wow, from down under, from Tasmania. All right. So we have our guest, Muriel Toucey from Massachusetts, USA, whom we're going to introduce first. And then we'll go on with Jennie Richards from Tasmania later on. All right, so let us welcome our first guest with us, Miss Muriel Toucey. Welcome. Hi, Muriel.
Hi, Dr. Ong.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. Must be pretty early for you, right? I've forgotten the time. It must be pretty early.
Yeah, it's 7:30 in the morning, and normally I wouldn't be up at this time, but thanks to the wand, I am.
Oh, wow, you're energized. Well, you know, when I first spotted your story, I was really what really caught my eye was this photo. Can I share it? I'll just share this photo and we'll take it from there. We'll take it from there. All right. So this was the photo that I saw on Facebook, and I was like, wow, you know. And I also noticed that it was being shared very quickly among different groups. And I told myself I have to contact this person. So we are very honored to have you here. So maybe you can tell us what was wrong with you, you know, for the last many years. What was wrong with you? Tell us.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ong, for having me. I back in I think it was 1995, I owned and operated a children's photography studio out of my home. I was a professional photographer. Mm-hmm. And one day I was getting ready and I was extremely fatigued, like it wasn't normal. I had to lay down. I felt like I was coming down with something like the flu. And at the time I also had, you know, my kids were small, and this continued for many years. I kept going to different doctors because I knew it wasn't normal. And what was happening was, it first started out maybe one day, and then it became 3 days. And then over the years, it just started becoming more and more days. And I was getting...
And the doctors, different doctors diagnose you with different problems, right?
Well, in the beginning, they would just take a blood test and say, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. And I was completely confused because I knew something was wrong and it was getting progressively worse. And when I finally became bedridden in 2010, my doctor told me I had multiple sclerosis, which I didn't know a lot about. But after about a year of seeing doctors for that, I was finally told that I did not have multiple sclerosis, but I did have something. They didn't know what the something was. Mm-hmm. A year after that, I had a different doctor say I had lupus. And then a third doctor said, no, you don't have lupus. So to this day, I have no idea.
And that is so depressing for you because all you wanted was to pin down the problem, get it fixed, and move on with your life, right? And you met so many experts and they all came up with different things. So what happened after that? I guess you realized that you had to do something yourself.
Well, in 2010 and to 2012, I was in bed. My husband had to take care of everything. My husband worked a lot, so I moved in with my parents, and my parents took care of my children. And so I went eventually to see a woman that wasn't even a doctor. She dealt with flower essences. I know it sounds crazy, but it deals with frequencies, but they're very, very mild. And it took me about a year before I could really do anything. But, you know, it didn't last really long. And I just started going downhill again until I came across this device, which a friend of mine named Brenda, she shared a video with me, who is now my sponsor, Ash, and I couldn't believe what I was listening to, and I immediately bought it, and I've just been using it ever since, and I just keep improving. But my before picture, a lot of people think I did it because I wanted to look better.
Yeah.
I didn't
Okay,
even use it on
let's
face.
pull out the picture again. Now tell us the before, like how many months, can you remember, like when it was taken, that kind of thing? So that
That was taken on December 30th, 2022.
Oh, so there was a recent photo. The one
Yes.
before, the one on the left is a recent photo. Wow. December
Yes.
2022. Okay. I thought it was taken
Yes,
like a long time ago.
and then on the right was January 7th, 2023.
Wow. That's less than a month. That's like what, a couple of weeks kind of thing?
That's a week. That's like a week.
Amazing.
Well,
Amazing.
the only reason I took it, Dr. Ong, was because the first one was because I just felt so horrible. I don't like selfies. I don't like taking pictures of myself. I really don't. But I took it because
especially when your health is not, in tip-top condition. The last thing you want to do is to take a selfie. Am I right? Yeah.
Yes. In fact, I have a mechanism on Facebook where I will not allow people to tag me because of that.
Yeah.
So I have to look at everything before it's posted.
Yeah.
And the picture on the left is really what I look like all the time. But I don't know why I took that selfie. I think I was just feeling really horrible.
Yeah,
and then,
but I'm glad for the sake of the viewers you took it. All right. So
yes,
I'm glad you took it. And looking at it, it's wow, just the eyes and around it and your neck and your face is like all, it's just amazing. And the glow on the right hand side, you can see the glow, right?
Yes. And of course, like I said, I wasn't planning on taking a before and after. I just took it for myself. And then the picture on the right, I was in the car waiting for my husband. So it is different lighting, but you could still see the difference. And I was feeling so much better. I thought, wow, I wonder, I wonder if I look any better, like, if I don't look as sickly. So I just took a selfie. And when I got home, I put them side by side and I was absolutely stunned.
Yeah, the aura is totally different. And look at the energy that's coming out from you right now. I'm sure all our viewers can feel your vibration. You're on a different,
I hope so.
On a different frequency level, lady. So that's the good news. Well, we discussed a little bit, and you told me about your MLM thing before your health went down. So tell us about it. So you were planning for the residual income. I guess you knew that something was happening to your. Tell us about your networking, because we are a networking company. We're very proud of networking.
Well, I went to school to be a professional photographer and I absolutely loved it. But when I became fatigued, I remember thinking to myself, what am I going to do for an income? Because my income depended on my health. And so does a lot of jobs in the world. It doesn't matter if you don't work, you don't get paid. And I wasn't on a salary. So I was trying to find something else. And before I got so sick that I wouldn't be able to work, I got involved in an MLM company. I worked extremely hard. And after 2 years, I was at the top of the company. And I was, but my happiness was short-lived, because 4 years after that was when I became bedridden.
Yeah,
and thankfully, I had residual income that paid all of my bills for many, many years.
Wow.
And I know that if I did not have that residual income, I wouldn't have my home anymore. I would not have anything.
You know what's the beauty of this story of yours, Muriel? Because not only your health has improved, but now we are also an MLM company. And this time around, your health wasn't going this way, it's heading that way. All right.
That's right.
So not only is it going to hit that way, but I believe, just looking at your energy and the life in you, income is going to go this way as well. So
Yes.
it's pretty exciting. I'm all excited for you to see that, you know, you have transformed in terms of health, beauty, and wealth. I think wealth will be the next transformation for you, because all you need to do is just share your story.
Yes, yes, I know. And thank you so much, because this really, today, I'm so much more concerned about my health than my wealth, because once you lose your health, you realize it's really everything about your entire life.
Yeah.
You know, I missed a lot of years with my children.
Yeah, I know. I feel you. Well, thank you so much, Muriel, for coming to our live stream today. And you never know, someone out there would have probably a similar kind of symptom or situation like yours, may want to give it a try. And hopefully
Yes.
that will transform their lives and their health and their beauty, just like it has transformed yours. Thank you so much, Muriel, for sharing your
Thank you
story.
for having me, Dr. Ong. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome. See you soon.
Okay.
Right. So that's our wonderful story again, true to life, and something that has helped her to regain not only her health, but also hopefully, although she looks at it like health is more important, but I think wealth is equally important as well. Hopefully she will be the top, as she had in the past with the previous MLM company. So now, without much further ado, we have our second guest all the way from Tasmania. Can we welcome Jennie Richards? Hi, Jen.
Hi, Dr. Ong. How you going?
How are you? So there we have Muriel, who is like pretty early, and here you're like almost midnight.
Oh yeah,
Am
I'm
I
half
right?
sleeping.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for staying up for this live stream. So, you know, it's so hard when you're in more than 50 countries, you just don't know who is who and from where. But anyway, thank you so much. I'm sure everyone who is watching in right now appreciate you from down under. So, Jen, tell us about your life and what you know, what went through with your health before you found this wonderful device. Tell us.
Well, it was a little while ago. I was trained as a social worker, and I've been working counseling and natural health and all that kind of stuff. But more recently, my partner and I got into working with a frequency device called the Physiospect, and so we were working with that, and then we the same person who had introduced us to that was started using the one, so we ended up learning about that, and we got that, and it was I started using it straight away, and particularly on my hands. My hands have been starting to cause me a bit of grief and just inflammation and pain and stuff, so I started using it. I'm like, oh, hang on, that actually
okay, so it was like a little bit like arthritic kind of pain, right?
Yeah.
Discomfort.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned,
Well, I didn't want to
about,
admit that, but yes.
Yeah.
Seemed to be kind of like an inflammation, like a stiffness and stuff. And so because it was part of the protocol, I was using it, and I'm like, oh, hang on, actually that's working. And then I think I was using it one day, and it was like one of my fingers was particularly sore, and I'm like, So I kind of took it out and I started using it, and I'm like, oh, that worked. Cool. So anyway, that was that. And then I had this mole on my back that.
Okay, can I show them the photo you sent me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, all right, there we go. Okay.
So I'd had it for a long time, but because it's on my back, it's not like something I was looking at all the time. But I'd also noticed that and I can't even really, I'm not sure how long it's been, but it started, like from time to time it was itchy, and then I kind of would look, but it was hard to see, because like you can see.
Yeah, it's right at the back. Yeah,
I couldn't see it.
Yeah,
and
you can only touch it and feel it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then I started realizing that the skin around it had become numb, and I didn't really make the association either. I didn't realize that it was to do with it. And then after a little while after that, I noticed that the whole shoulder blade, like all that whole area, was kind of achy sometimes. So anyway, I just thought one day, going, I might try an experiment. So I decided to try and use the wand just to see if I could do something about that.
Just in case a lot of people may, want to ask this, how do you use it? Like, I mean, once a day, how long, and so on. Please tell us. Yeah.
Well, look, I'm in what I do. I'm pretty good at giving advice, but I'm kind of not great at taking it. So I was a bit sporadic with how I used it. I decided that I was going to start taking, some supplements as well. So, without nutrition, the body can't actually do a great deal anyway.
Yes, in combination. Yep.
Yeah. So I increased my vitamin C, and I started taking proteolytic enzymes, and I also take magnesium. So that was my goal, but I didn't do it as often as I'd intended. So it was probably every kind of couple of days I was doing it. So overall, in the probably 5 or 6 weeks that I'd been from the first photo to the last photo, I'd probably done full protocol maybe 3 times. But I'd also done things like, I'd dry my hair and then just kind of point it.
Okay, so it's like basically all over your body, and
yeah,
when you feel like it, you just blow a little bit more. Yeah, when you feel like you remember, then you blow that part a little bit longer, something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so I didn't do it like on a exact routine, but I did do it, and then I also used it in between, and then I had things in between as well. So, and I just kept, every time I noticed something a little bit different, I took a photo, which, let me tell you, was not all that easy.
I mean, looking at the photo, I mean, did it like drop off, or what happened? I mean, like,
I know, it looks weird, doesn't it?
It looks like it peeled off by itself or something, right?
I know. Well, you see, the first one, if you kind of zoom in on it, it just kind of looks kind of a little bit crusty. And that was when it was mostly itchy and numb around the edge. And then the next one was, I think that the numbness had started to go away and it had started to raise up a little bit. The third one, it was obviously a lot more raised. But by the time I got to that January 15th, it looks really gross, but what it was is it had started to kind of peel from the top, and the temptation was to keep peeling it off, like after a shower when all the skin is soft and stuff.
I know.
Temptation is to peel it off, and I kind of had to resist it, but obviously by the 17th I couldn't resist it anymore, and kind of just peeled it off. But that was not a great idea, because it bled quite a bit. Actually, before I got that photo, I had to really kind of stop it from bleeding, because I was a bit ambitious. But then on the 19th, that one, what I'd done, because you can see kind of a Band-Aid kind of mark around it, because it was bleeding, I just put calendula on a Band-Aid and put it on my back, and then just left it for a couple of days, and then I took it off. So that's why it's a little bit red around it. But then by the 20th, it was that color, and now you pretty much can't see anything.
Yeah, and you drank the wanded water as well, but again, maybe not consistently, whenever you feel like it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look, the intention is to do it regularly, and I do actually wand the water periodically, and I still do. But there's a few people in my family, and they keep drinking it. It takes ages, and I get complacent. But the intention is to keep doing it, and I do it because I know that it works. I've worked with colloidal silver. I know that colloidal silver has the similar kind of deal, and
energizes the water.
I know that, but it energizes the water. That's right. So I know that
some people say it structures the water. Well, so water is life. Amazing. So I think it's a combination of wanded water and also blowing on because essentially, I guess, if our body's cells, the energy, goes back to normal, then it's able to do what it's supposed to do. And that's where the healing comes in. So a lot of people, I'm sure, that's like moles or cysts or whatever, different parts of our body. And sometimes we don't take it too seriously, but then again, it leads to something else, right? So in your case, you already felt like some numbness or, your shoulder, and it's like it's spreading, right? So I'm glad that you checked on it and you got rid of this. And I believe the whole part around that area will continue to heal. So
yeah, look,
makes
I had
sense.
no intentions on going kind of anywhere else to investigate it. I knew that my body was able to deal with that, and I knew that
Yes.
by using that frequency,
Yeah,
it was going to fix it. So
I know. Because we know our body better. We can feel it. Yeah.
yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Jen. Thank you for sharing your story. And you told me a while ago that your story is so small compared to other, but no, to me, there's no story too small. Everything is important, because everyone with that problem, if they're able to get rid of it, it's huge. It's huge. It's a big problem to that person. All right. So thank you. We appreciate your story, and all the best to you. And I don't know whether you're like Muriel, but she's building on the networking. Hopefully you can share your story and also build your network.
Yes. Well, that's the plan.
All right. Thank you so much, Jen. All right. So thank you, ladies. Wonderful ladies today. Wonderful stories. And I hope all the viewers today, if you have similar kind of situation, you never know. If you keep an open mind, you try, it will work. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you all next week. Bye.
Medical disclaimers. iTerra Classic and iTerra Pro are not medical devices. The information provided on our website is for educational purposes only and does not substitute for professional medical advice. Please consult a medical professional or healthcare provider if you are seeking medical advice, diagnoses, or treatment. Prife International shall not be liable for risks or issues associated with using or acting upon the information on our website. Prife International shall not be liable or responsible for the actions, misrepresentations, or negligence of our members who are independent contractors.